the theme of today is listings. I have a few tools I wanted to show you guys. Some of it we've covered, some of it is new, and some of it you may already know. But just some cool, helpful tools for when you have a listing, or the first thing I'm going to show you, or when you're competing for a listing and you're trying to impress a potential seller. So I'm going to share my screen really quick, and we'll go from there. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Nope. Oh, there
we
goes.
go.
Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. It should be Realist, right? Is that what you guys see?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, cool. Just a quick reminder on how to get to Realist. When you're in Matrix, Realist is this button right up here. So I'm in Realist, and this is something, I believe it's new because Realist just came out with a bunch of updates, and I've been kind of exploring around. There's a lot of cool tools. So it's definitely worth exploring, but there's all kinds of really cool things up here, including points of interest. This is where you can find companies near a listing and include that in your listing input. Driving directions, you can get the driving directions for your listing, which, as you know, you need in listing input. All kinds of cool things, but one thing I really want to show you guys today is trends. So you can access it this way, which I am, it's a little more difficult. So this is a way I'm going to be using it. So we're going to zoom into our address, and let's say you can either search it up here, you can search the address, or you can just zoom in and find the address. So I will use my address.
Now we can stalk him for his birthday tomorrow.
I was going to say, too bad there's a shortage of toilet paper.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a come up if someone TP'd your house right now?
People will be taking it off the trees.
Yeah, pretty much. One quick tip, totally not related to what I'm about to show you guys. This is definitely brand new. So now, when you, in the past, if you were writing an offer for a off-market deal, and you wanted to input it on Transaction Desk, you'd have to start from scratch on Transaction Desk, find the parcel number and everything. This just saves you, 5-10 minutes. You can just click here and go right into writing an offer. So that's new as far as I know, unless it's not new, and you can let me know. Okay, so I'm clicking on the parcel, and it's taking me into the report on the parcel, so everyone knows that you can look at this, and this is information that I always bring whenever I have a listing appointment. But this is something that is new, or at least updated, market trends. So you go on market trends, and what it does is it pulls statistics for 98403. That's the zip code, and these are all specific to that area. Super cool, in my opinion. And you can print it right here. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So look at that. It's a cool report that you could staple together and include in your marketing package that you give the seller. So anyways, this is a cool thing that I did not know existed. I think it's brand new with the new update, but I'm going to definitely start providing this to potential sellers. And TJ and I were talking about how you can just providing content like this to people who maybe aren't even considering selling a home can make such a lasting impact on them, where they'll remember you when the time does come to sell a home. So this is just great free material to provide your clients, and super easy. It's all just right there. You don't have to do any work on that. There's a lot of other cool information that we'll talk about. We can talk about at some other time, but if you have any questions about the new Realist, you can feel free to call me. Or they have a webinar that they've recorded, and it's on the Northwest MLS that you can watch, and it shows you all the new features of Realist. So anyways, that is the first thing I wanted to show you guys. The second thing we have talked about, but I was contacted again by our contact at Modus Title and Escrow, and so I kind of wanted to he brought up some points that I don't feel like were discussed in the last office meeting that they were in a few months ago. So I'm going over here. So this is Modus Staging Boost. So for those who were not at the last office meeting, Modus is a title and escrow company, and they do all the same things that any title and escrow company do. They are more web-based. That's what they pride themselves on. So they have one of the things they pride themselves on is earnest money is as easy as making a Venmo payment. That's one of their catchphrases. And so the idea is they make they streamline the title and escrow process, online, mobile friendly. It's very flashy and modern and cool. I've used them once, and nothing but good things to say. So that's cool. But as we know, title and escrow companies all do pretty similar things. So what really separates them is they offer free financing for your sellers. And so I'll explain this really quick. There's two options. And the part I really want to hammer on today, because we talked about this option here a lot in the last meeting, but I want to start with this, qualifications for financing. They have two different levels. If it's over $5,000, we'll talk about that in a second. There's a whole qualification process for the seller. But here's the cool thing. If it's under $5,000, your seller's immediately approved. They don't have a credit check. They don't have a debt to income qualification. Modus will just automatically loan them the $5,000 or whatever they need for whatever they need to do to sell their home. Now, $5,000, you may say, is not that much money. So to do mini repairs. So try to not think about it that way, but think about it like this. How much can 5,000 do for landscaping? You could probably, for $500, really, TJ, you're going through a lot of landscaping right now. So you're probably laughing at me saying I'm crazy. But I mean, even if it really needs a lot of work, $1,500, $2,000, you could probably make a backyard and front yard look absolutely gorgeous. And then you've got an extra $3,000 to maybe paint one of the bedrooms, have it deep cleaned. And then another thing we talked about that I don't remember talking about in the last office meeting that Modus came to, they were saying, and I'm going to preface by saying, you may feel like this may not be something that you feel awesome about. So this is up to you if you want to use this, but I kind of like the idea. They say to utilize Modus to pay for pictures and drone and Matterport. And if you're going to stage the home, utilize that money to do that. And the reason is you can say in the contract, you can say, hey, Modus is going to pay for this. And then I'm going to have that taken out of my commission. So here's why this is really cool. Number one, you're not paying for it up front, which is nice. I mean, pictures and drone and Matterport can be hundreds of dollars. So call it $300, $400, $500. You're not paying for it up front. It's just going to come out of your commission. Number two, if a seller pulls a really fun move and they overprice their home and then it doesn't sell and they don't want to drop the price and they blame you and they back out and they say, well, I'm not going to list a home with you, which hopefully doesn't happen, but it happens far too often. Guess what? All those fees, those are on them. You don't have to pay for it. And I've had it happen a few times where someone cancels a listing and you're just out all the money that you've invested. Obviously, you're still out the time that you've invested, but and again, I preface by saying you may not feel morally right about doing that. I don't have a problem with it because I have every intention of paying for the pictures and the Matterport and the drone. But if you're going to cancel a listing on me, no, I'm not paying for it. So that's just an idea that the guy who I spoke with me about, and I thought it was a really great idea. And he also said that it's actually incentive for them to just price drop, just to be reasonable when they're not getting offers. They don't want to be held with a loan that they have to pay within 12 months. That's the rule, which should be plenty of time to sell a home. So they're much more likely to not cancel with you at that point. So anyways, take it or leave it. That was me what I want to talk about. Yeah.
We don't ask our people to sell or to sign like listing agreement with us, do you think if that is a procedure you want to go through, like maybe we should have them sign a listing agreement?
What do you mean? They do. So everyone, you have to sign a listing agreement to list a home.
I don't mean that. I just mean like, I don't know. It does feel a little bit oily. Like, I think it's a great idea, but I don't know.
Well, so, I mean, everybody signs a 1A listing agreement. You have to have that before you list someone's home. So this is just, you can't.
Maybe like, I'm saying, but do you disclose to them, like, you know, this is the company we're going to be going through. Like, if you pull the listing, like, these will be costs that fall on your shoulders. Like, is there a way, like,
Yeah, you can absolutely disclose that, whatever you feel comfortable with. But yeah, I guess all I can say is what I would do. What I would do is explain why I would suggest using Modus Title and Escrow. And if you have your own title and escrow company that you prefer to use, that's great. Think about using Modus when you have a client who really is cash poor, doesn't have the money to do any work on their home, and just a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of landscaping would really make it pop. And if you have that client say, hey, Modus is a great company, and here's what they'll do for you, and they'll cover all our upfront costs, and then they'll just come out of closing. And by the way, and you can say this in writing and sign it or whatever. And by the way, pictures, Matterport, and drone, I'm going to pay for out of my commissions when this closes. I don't think you have to say anything else. That you can give them the staging boost. I'll provide this flyer, but you can give them the staging boost flyer, which clearly states that the seller is responsible for it. But yeah, you can disclose however much or however little as you want. I don't think it's if you're giving them this information, I don't think it's deceitful in any way. But again, whatever you feel comfortable doing, and take it or leave it. That was an interesting tactic that the guy mentioned to me that I thought was clever. I will just quickly cover this. So if it's more than $5,000, they have one bathroom that's just hideous and they just want to remodel it completely. It'll be like applying for a credit card, but it's a 0% loan, 12 months. Literally, there's no fees. It is a credit check, and you have to have over a 640 credit score, debt to income ratio of under 50%. And they have to have equity in their home, right? It's got to be someone who's not underwater. But that's how that works. And like I said, again, it's up to $55,000. The only real catches are you can't just use, your brother-in-law to remodel the bathroom. It has to be a licensed and bonded contractor. So just some little details like that, but it is another really cool tool that you can keep in your tool belt if you're, selling a home that's a beautiful home. This isn't necessary. You can go with whoever you want for title and escrow. But if you have a seller who really wants to get top dollar and just has no money to do any repairs, this could be a really great option. So I should probably repeat one last time. We have no affiliation with any title and escrow company, so it makes no difference as who you use. I just think this is a really cool tool that we'll share this flyer with you. And I would keep it in your packets that you give sellers when you go to a listing appointment, because it's something that you might be offering that anybody else you're interviewing is not offering, and it can separate you. This talks about staging a home. So you can actually use the $5,000, or if you're using more than that, to also stage a home, which is another awesome. If I ever stage a listing again, I'm definitely going to require that we use Modus, because there's always question, well, who's going to pay for the staging? And I say, I lost a listing this way. I say, I'll pay for the staging out of my commission, but I'm not paying for it up front because you can cancel with me. And I said it better than that, but that's pretty much what I said. I'm like, I'm not going to put $2,000 down on staging, or more like $2,500, and then spend $500 on marketing. So I'm in $3,000, and then you could cancel on me a week later. And I actually lost a listing that way. That's not going to happen again, because I'll just do the staging through Modus. And then if they back out, it's on them. So again, take it or leave it. I hope I hope nobody feels like this is, dishonest. It's up to you. But to me, I think it's reasonable to want the seller to pay for something if they're going to back out on a contract, right? Especially after all the work we do.
Also, I'd like to point out that a lot of this Modus stuff, so Sarah's created a really cool pre-listing packet that people like you brokers are welcome to hire her for, and she'll tweak it and customize it to you. And one of the things that is in there is a lot of the Modus stuff, because I really do think it could sell the listing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, that's all. That's all I have. Sarah, are you ready to do? Sarah's going to be doing a quick tour of showing time. So showing time is actually. I'm going to just stop there. Sarah, I'll let you talk.
All right. So showing time. Sorry, my camera's not working.
Yours isn't working.
Nope. So is it? I don't know.
No, that was mocking mine. My
No, Ken's isn't working either. He was joking.
Sorry. Okay. So here's my screen. You can all see it, right? Okay. So showing time is it basically automates the appointment setting for your listings. So you can use it in lieu of having to even talk to the brokers. So you don't have to be answering your phone all the time. They can just get in here, set the appointment, and then you'll get a message. So let's go through how we set this up. So this is 6 tips for showing time. We found this on the front page of the MLS. So if you want to read through it yourself, it's there. All right. So haven't updated my profile, so we're going to go through. Okay, so you want to make sure that your contact information is up to date. You can upload a picture. You'll want to have your name and a phone number, preferably your cell phone number, so that you can receive a text message and facilitate appointments that way. And you'll want to make sure that all of your information down here is correct. And I'm going to switch users real quick so that I can show you some things with transactions. Would you get out of the way? Okay, we're going to use Team Tuttle. That's TJ, sorry. Team Tuttle. Okay. And we're just going to go into, okay, shortcut for showing time. It's not on here, but it'll be on when you're looking at a listing. It'll be here. This is the showing time. And that's for setting up appointments. So we want to go in here. So once you've set up your profile, when you have a listing, it'll automatically import. So here we have Craig's listings. You may need to add the contacts because a lot of times your sellers are going to want to be contacted to set up the appointments. So the things that were covered in the article were to start by setting up your list defaults. So good grief. I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't. Okay, so that's just going to be here in your showing instructions. So once you've selected the property, you'll come down here. At this time, appointments are required for all listings. Under normal circumstances, you can set your defaults to be go show for vacants or appointment required for listings. So you'll want to say appointment required. This is listing agent company showing. Okay. And then down here, you're going to select who will be contacted, and you can add someone by checking down here. So let's say I was co-agent on this. And then now all I have to do is select what sort of notifications I want. Okay, and down here we have, you want to set the maximum appointment length. So Craig chose to have 15 minutes. The MLS recommends 35 to 45 minutes to give people enough time to really look at the house. You don't want other people coming in right behind them, which takes us to lead time. So lead time is how much notice you're going to have to give before you show up for the appointment. So best practice is 1 hour. We're going to go with no hours because that's what was in here. Overlapping appointments are also not allowed at this time, but under normal circumstances, if you wanted to do that, there's selections for that.
During this, excuse me, Sarah, during this time, are all those just overridden? Everything is just, did MLS just put COVID, their rules in there so we can't change it?
No, they did not. You can still, you still have all the options. So as you can see here, there's all of the available options. And up here, you can even, you can say that an appointment's not required. So you do still have to go in and select these things.
Okay, so it's still our responsibility to put all those rules in there.
Yes, absolutely. And I will show you as I get down here how you can set some of that information up. Okay, the next section here is appointment restrictions. This allows you to set times when you don't want anybody having an appointment for showings. So the default time for showings is from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. I have to be careful on this because it can get a little tricky. You don't want to set it for the hours that you do allow showings. You want to set it for the hours that you do not allow showings. We had a little snafu with that. And I'm sorry, I don't know what that noise is. So,
Hey, Debbie and Ken, I think it might be one of you guys, if you don't mind muting it. Oops.
I'm not, I'm just sitting with my arms folded. I got nothing going on.
Oh, okay.
okay. All right, so for example, this is actually a good example because we started out doing it backwards. So you'll just click here to edit, come in here. You are required to give a reason why you can't show during whatever time. Then you'll come down here and select a start time. So this is not the time that you want showings to start. This is the time that you want the restriction to start. And then you'll put the time you want it to end. So these particular sellers are in the home and they don't want anybody showing before 9 a.m. So you can see start time is 8 a.m., end time is 9 a.m. And then down here you can pick to restrict all day and put the date in here. And then that would be, let's say they're going out of the town for the weekend and for some reason they don't want to do showings while they're out of town, which would be odd, but it could happen. But for whatever reason, you can select that. And then here you just put your date range. You can pick the days of the week you want. All of these toggle on and off. And then you'll just save your showing time restrictions. I'm going to hit cancel so I don't reset anything. All right. So the next thing that they talked about was that there is a mobile app for showing times. And the thing after that is that they're offering classes, so it'd be a more comprehensive class that will cover more than what I've covered here. There's one today from 2 to 3 p.m. There's one Wednesday the 20th from 10 to 11. And there's one Wednesday the 27th from 3 to 4. And all that information, again, is just on the homepage of the Northwest MLS. Is there anything specific that anyone would like me to show you while we're in here?
Just a question. So this doesn't happen until your listing is live. You can't go up and preset all this stuff before you flip the switch and go active on your listing?
Correct. There are default settings that you can put in place that will apply to everything. For example, here is where you can set, scooch on over, you can add a note that will go with all your listings. This might be a good place to remind people of best practices for showings during this pandemic.
Like a security code could go there.
Yes, anything that, any note that you want to be given out every time someone comes in there.
Sarah, do you know how to do ask for feedback? Can you automate that where you have the agents get a request for feedback right after they show?
Yes, you can do that. So we'll come down here into feedback. Sorry, I haven't done that particular thing recently, so.
That's okay. I'm totally putting you
Here
on
we
the
go.
spot.
Feedback form. So you can come in here and set up what questions you want to have asked. Here are all your settings. You can create a new template, preview survey. So when someone shows one of Craig's listings, if this is turned on, then this will go to them. I believe it goes in email, and then he gets the feedback automatically, and he doesn't have to call people, he doesn't have to bother anyone.
Yep. And the other cool thing, I mean, with everything we spoke about, Modus, Realist, Showing Time, these are all tools that any real estate broker can utilize. Whether or not you're in this case with the tools we've covered today, whether or not you're with our brokerage or not. The difference is to be a what am I trying to say? To earn a listing, I always suggest you try and think of the ways that you can separate yourself from the other agents competing with you. And so if you're the agent who highlights these things that you offer, that separates you, even though any agent can do that. You're going to separate yourself right off the bat if you bring that Realist report. You don't ask for them to ask you, you bring it and you're saying, look, I have information. And most brokers won't do that. Most brokers have Showing Time, but they won't even mention it. And I would phrase it to a seller like, I have Showing Time is a tool I use for all of my listings, where it will require agents who want to view the property to schedule the showing. It'll send you notice of the showing or ask you for permission, and then you can just click yes from your phone. They don't have to bother you with a call or text. It's all mobile. And then I will get feedback from each agent after they see the home, and then I will immediately send you the feedback. Now, even though that's all free stuff that any agent can do, most agents aren't saying that they're going to do that. And so you'll just automatically separate yourself, and it's a free tool that's there. So anyways, that's just something I wanted to mention about just separating yourself.
Can I also add that, okay, I'm not muted. So this is also a handy tool when you're doing showings. So if you come in here to your calendar, you can view, well, there are no requests in here, but you can view who's requested. You can make a request to see one. And then Showing Cart helps you put your whole tour together. So if you're using the cart in the regular MLS, these are linked up so that you can import those directly into Showing Time and have them in your calendar. And then that'll be in the app. And since there's nothing here, I'm not going to mess with it, but I believe it would just be as easy as clicking this button once you put your info in. So it's a good way to keep track of all the showings you're going out to show, and also showings that people have requested.
Awesome.
Okay.
Very cool. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing all that. And we'll include that information in the recap email with the video. I also realized I have fallen behind sending Robin the recap video, so I'm going to send her the past couple meetings. So if you've missed those, you can check those out. And if you need more content, I have one last thing to show you guys that, again, I've shown this to everyone before, but it's cool and worth sharing again. Realty One Group made this page specifically in response to COVID-19. It's not about COVID-19, but it is an additional resource from Realty One Group during this time where we're at home. And it has just tons of education. So I think it's 4 days a week. I want to say it's every day Friday. Robin, you can correct me if I'm wrong. They have a webinar, and the webinar covers all kinds of things. Yesterday, it was about Instagram. Today, I wasn't able to attend, but they just have all kinds of cool webinars that break down some of the tools. They break down things like social media, things like designing your website, etc. And most mornings I log into it if it's something that really isn't applicable or I'm already aware of, like yesterday's Instagram. It was pretty surface level, and I feel like Robin's taught me most of it. So I logged off after 15 minutes. It was a good 15 minutes, and I was like, okay, perfect. This isn't anything new. So you don't have to waste your time if you already know it, but every once in a while they might cover something you don't know. And then they have the past ones here, so you can watch them. This one right here, the CARES Act, explain. This is from the legal department. Maybe I'm just a nerd, but I really enjoyed that. It was very interesting. The
one on the left of that, the brunette, that's Debbie DeGroat. She's the one who has made a bunch of our One University videos and trainings. Like, what's cool about these meetings is it's a way to network, right? It's a way to like feel that culture, that like Realty One Group spirit, because it's open to everyone. What else I like about it is it's speakers that are relevant.
Right.
Like, these are industry leaders that know what they're talking about on the topic they're talking about. Like, it's not the same person giving you content every time. So I don't know, that diversity in speakers has been really interesting for me. Like, some of this hasn't been very helpful, and some of these have been wildly helpful. So they usually do a teaser that they talk about on Facebook and Instagram before the meeting, like the night before, just so you know what's coming ahead. But I think they're worth attending for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Realty One Group, if you're new to Realty One Group, they're very rah-rah, very pep Realty One Group at Paint the Town Gold. So, there's a lot of that fluff, and, some of it's kind of ridiculous and you roll your eyes, but it's fun. It's good information when you get to it. And again, you don't have to focus your whole day around it. If you're not doing anything at 9 a.m., it's 9 a.m. 4 days a week, and you just can have it on in the background. If it's interesting, you can really focus on it. If it's not, you can just have it on in the background or close out of it. So anyways, I will share this website. A couple other things. Well, first, at the bottom right here, this is how you reserve it, or it's not the bottom, it's about 3/4 of the way down. So you have to reserve your spot, and then you'll get an email every morning saying, here's the login for it. And once you reserve your spot, you're not obligated to go, but it's just that way you can get in the future. That's another way to get into One University. And then I've talked about this before, but I just want to say it one last time. This is a business planning guide. So this is a free tool that Realty One Group gives you. And if you haven't downloaded it, it's awesome. It helps you organize your goals for your business and helps you create a subsequent to-do list, if you will. And that's a poor way of saying it. But if you haven't looked into it, it's pretty awesome. It's a tool that I could see a coaching company charging hundreds of dollars for, and it's free. So anyways, this is all on this website, which we will send in our recap email. Actually, in case anybody wants to get on it right now, I will put it in the chat box right now. All right, everyone, that's all I've got. Any questions or anything anybody want to add?
Next week, I would like to go over Canva. I know that I've been sharing templates with you guys, but sometimes when I share templates, like if your photos don't fit or something, it can be kind of annoying or stressful for you guys, and I don't want that. So just in preparation for next week, if you guys have any issues with Canva, or you want help with something, or you want to learn how to do something, just hit me up sometime this week, and next Tuesday I'll have like a live training where we'll just go through it together.
That's awesome. And the next, this Thursday, just to preface that meeting, I'm going to kind of keep on this listing train, and we're going to talk about CMAs. If you already have a way of doing a CMA, which is a comparative market analysis for a listing, and you feel good about it, then, you know, take it or leave it. But I'm just going to show, I've had this request from a few different people. I'm just going to show you how I analyze a property and how I determine a fair market value, and essentially show you what I do before I go on a listing appointment, and the reports that I provide my sellers. And I haven't told Sarah this, but we're going to be showing the pre-listing packet too that Sarah's designed, and kind of working off of what we discussed a bit today. So anyways, hope you guys are able to make that. That's 1 p.m. on Thursday. And then, as you know, these meetings are 11 a.m. on Tuesdays.